pretty much, I've been telling people for years, man, you need to start a side business, especially as you start making more money in your normal job. Now, when I say side business, a lot of people go straight to, hey, this is LLC Twitter stuff. I'm about to tell y'all something right now. A lot of people, when they tell you to start an LLC, they don't tell you anything else after that. It's just very confusing to a lot of people. I know people with businesses that they've been operating for years that don't really understand LLC stuff. And I'm just like, how are you running the, anyway, it's because people give you half the information because it sounds good on the podcast. And I'm not trying to do that. So I'm going to tell you what you can look up and everything like that. So first things first, you start an LLC. The IRS does not recognize LLCs. It means nothing to an LLC. An LLC is a local business structure. They don't care nothing about your LLC. When I say the IRS, I mean, so you're not getting any tax benefits from being an LLC. They don't care. The IRS, it doesn't. When I say they don't care, that's not a recognized form of business in the IRS. Right? So it means nothing to them. Now, you set up an LLC because you want to be protected from certain lawsuits in your home state. So that's the benefit of that. But if you're running a business that has a low likelihood of you being sued because, you know, you don't, there's a very low chance that you will make somebody a victim of anything. You can operate just as a normal sole proprietor. You can get an EIN for anything. So, you know, you can operate as a sole proprietor. Now, what I'm about to tell y'all is all based on sole proprietorship, right? And the benefit of a sole proprietorship when you start to make more money in your career and all that, right? And I'm gonna be brief because that's not what y'all here for, I know. But so pretty much back in like 2011, I bought my first house. And I heard about this whole first-time home buyer credit, this Obama thing, this first-time home buyer credit, meaning like at the end of the year when it's tax time, I can get some money back for my, I can get more money back because I bought a house, like that tax credit. I wanted that. So I started trying to find some information. And even though the internet was around at that time, it wasn't as good as it is now. Like you couldn't just get literally anything. You had to buy books still at that time, right? So I bought this book called, It was pretty much like explaining all the tax laws, right, in this book, but it was breaking it down for like beginners. I bought this book, then I realized, oh, they got this thing called a Form 1040, which everybody that has a job fills out a 1040, right? But they have this like addendum to the 1040 called a Form Schedule C, right? Schedule, the letter C, right? And the 1040 Schedule C is a form where you put additional income and additional expenses, right? Business, like a business that you run, right, on there. And so now everything I'm telling you, like every IRS form that you can fill out, they all have instructions, like very detailed instructions that tell you everything about it. So if I tell you something, if you want to use it, go look it up. IRS Form 1040 Schedule C. It accompanies your 1040. Now, this is for people who have like normal jobs. They get a W-2, but they also run a side business as a sole proprietor. Even if you have an LLC, you will be taxed as a sole proprietor. So even your LLC, all of it will go under this Schedule C. This is where you put your business income and expenses, right? So so I was reading, I'm like, oh, they got this thing. So that's when I was starting. I had a clothing line back then, and I was doing photography and stuff like that. So I started doing it, then I'm realizing, oh, I could put my, okay, shout out J and PB. So I'm like, oh, I could put my business expenses on this, 1040 Schedule C. Yep, shout out to Jay Carter for putting that in there. I could put my business expenses, meaning when I bought a camera, I bought lenses, I bought a shirt press, all the ink I bought for it, all of the stuff that I bought for my business, I can use that. I mean, I can write that stuff as a business expense, or what they call write-off in the general public. I can put that on my Schedule C, and I can. It's pretty much called reducing my tax burden, pretty much, right? So it's making it. I don't know how to explain it shortly, but essentially, it's making it so that I pay tax on a smaller dollar amount, right? But you have to follow the rules, though. You know, you have to really be business expenses. Don't just put random stuff on there that has nothing to do with your business, because you can jam yourself up. So I'm never telling, don't ever jam yourself up. Like, go read the instructions and read what's eligible items. On the Schedule C, they have things like costs for advertisement, meals, office expenses, utilities. There's a bunch of like travel. There's a whole lot of stuff. Entertainment. There's a bunch of different categories where you can add your expenses in these categories, and you can reduce your tax burden like that. So yeah, you can write off a lot of expenses. So you want to keep track of your expenses throughout the year that are related to your business. Now, I learned about this in 2011, but I had been doing my taxes since I was 15 on taxslayer.com. Like, this is probably when they first started this company. I was doing my own taxes way back then. So they have like all these good, like wizards that'll walk you through how to do all that. So I started doing my own taxes on TaxSlayer with this 1040 Schedule C. And I really learned it from going through their little tax wizard thing. And it was telling me like, oh, you could do this, like the meals, you can deduct this much with the meals, and 80% and 50%. It gave me a breakdown of everything. With all of this stuff, even with me saying it to y'all right now, I'm not saying it so that you just go copy what I'm doing. I'm saying it so you go read about it and learn about it and see if this applies to you. See if you can use it. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not even saying use TaxSlayer. I'm saying go learn about 1040 Schedule C's and see if you have a side business that you can use, right? Phone bill, yeah, there's a lot of different expenses that you can write off, right? So pretty much I went and I learned about it, and I've been doing this since this is how I've been doing my taxes since 2011 or from the tax year 2011. I still have copies of all my returns from all back then and everything. So I wanted to tell y'all that because I always tell people, start a podcast, start a YouTube page. People are like, oh, we need to know. What does that say? What was the name of that book? I'm going to tell you the name of the book right now, because they put a new one out every year, because, tax laws change every year. And I'm glad you asked that, because I don't know why I didn't think to just pull it up anyway. Give me a second, y'all. Let me pull this book up. All right. This is the exact, but I'm pulling up the one. It's called Your Income Tax 2024 from J.K. Lassers, right? This is on, that's Amazon right there, right? This is the book, but the one I had was the 2011 version. But they put one out every year, right? And it updates it. They have one for small businesses. They have one for corporations. So whatever type of business you have, or whatever type of tax situation you're in, one of these books will give you all the information that I'm talking about right here. Also, when you go to the IRS website, like I said, there's instructions for every single IRS form. They talk about the IRS tax book or tax laws and all that. Tax code is like 72,000 pages. So never feel embarrassed if you don't know some tax stuff, because there's a lot of tax stuff. And I want to say this real quick. When I tell y'all something like this, don't ever think like, oh, he's running some type of scam or something like that. Like, I'm telling you, go read about it. You see what I'm saying? I know how to use it because like I said, I learned about it over 12 years ago. But you shouldn't start doing this until you go learn about it. I'm not telling you that I'm offering any services. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm telling you where to go find this information. So you don't have to worry about me taking anything from you. I don't even charge people for stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So this is one thing I want us to realize, is that they don't make tax laws that just only benefit rich people. So a lot of times you hear people like, oh, they just trying to like keep the rich and all that. There's tax laws that benefit us normal people too. You just have to know the tax laws. And I've been telling people about the Schedule C for a very long time. So that's the reason why I tell people, thank you, Hippie Easter. This is the reason why I tell people, start a podcast, start a YouTube page, and try to post with some form of regularity. The reason I tell people that is because this is a business. The regular network is my business. It's a sole proprietorship. I did set it up as an LLC, but it's taxed as a sole proprietorship. Now, you might hear somebody say, hey, he made that up. An LLC can be taxed as an S Corp. Yes, it can, but you have to fill out a form with the IRS called the 8832. The form 8832 is like a S Corp to be elected to be taxed as an S Corp. But you got to fill extra forms out for your LLC to be recognized and taxed like that. By default, you are taxed as a sole proprietor with your LLC. But anyway, So I've been telling people about this. Like, you start these podcasts and all this type of stuff because, especially for the people, everybody's been talking about, hey, I'm a 6-figure earner, all this type of stuff. If you make that much money, you need ways to reduce your tax burden. You're going to owe a lot of money at the end of the year. You see what I'm saying? You're going to owe a lot of money at the end of the year if you don't have a way to reduce how much money you owe. The way that you reduce how much money you owe is to use the tax code for your benefit, just like rich people do. They use it to their benefit. So people always think, oh, you got to start a nonprofit to get this charitable donations. No, you don't. You can do a podcast, actually run it, and have some level of consistency so that the IRS don't think that you just have a fake business. This is what I use this podcast for. Like, I don't make no money on this. I use this to help with my taxes every year. And I make sure I'm doing a good cause. I make sure I'm trying to educate my people and I'm trying to give out good information and stuff like that. But the thing about it is, though, I have to make sure that this business keeps operating with some regularity, because this is my tax strategy. You see what I'm saying? This podcast network is my tax strategy. Once you start to make more money where you owe at the end of the year, you need a strategy. This is mine. You see what I'm saying? And again, I'm not telling you that I'm going to do anything for you. I'm telling you where to go find this information at. It's not just rich people that can benefit from tax codes. We all have a way to benefit from it. See what I'm saying? Until they change the laws, right now we can benefit from it. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, don't let anybody try to put you down. And you could have 2 subscribers. If you post with some form of regularity where they can say, okay, yes, that's a business, then for sure, do that. Look, let me tell you how much I had to spend. So y'all know I do this podcast right here. Then I have a DIY channel on the regular network on YouTube. I have a DIY channel. Between the 2 channels, I'm going to tell y'all, and I'm rebuilding, I'm making content like rebuilding stuff and all different type of stuff, right? Let me see if I can pull this up. I'm gonna show y'all how much. I told people I would talk about how much I owe. I mean, how much I spent on this business last in 2023. I'm gonna show y'all. And I took a small. I literally just did mine last night, Lou. Literally. And this is the latest I ever did mine. And it's really because I had to go through all of those expenses, man. That took a grip. But let me see here. Give me a second, y'all. What? Hold up. Am I tripping? Is it popping up? Hold on, y'all. I don't know what's going on. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second to get it back. Downloads. All right, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. It's not coming up. Let me see something here. Give me a second to get it back. Give me a second to get. So, and every year this joint looks like this. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Man. This looks like this annually. I know we're coming up on the end, so I just I'm a little lollygagging. This is my expenses for last year. Y'all see that? You did yours this morning. $33,504 on my business to reduce my tax burden. You understand what I'm saying? You like, it's not a game. And I ain't making up stuff. Like, I spent a whole bunch of money that I couldn't claim on here because they wasn't business expenses. I'm not going to make up nothing. You see what I'm saying? Stuff that is on my show, stuff that's in this room, stuff that I record myself doing, all of that, because it's going to my business, is a business expense. You see what I'm saying? So everything related to my network is stuff that I'm using to advertise my network, all of that type of stuff. No, I don't have any apps, honestly. I should get some, but I don't. I just always do email receipts and all that type of stuff and go through all my bank statements, make sure everything is everything. But I like email receipts, and I like ordering stuff online because that has me a good paper trail. I always get order confirmations. I always get a good detailed list of what I ordered, all this type of stuff. So that's just how I keep track of stuff. I just keep email receipts and email confirmations and stuff like that. But yeah, $33,500 is what I spent last year, and I think that's not. I think a couple of years ago when I had like renovated this house that I'm in and renovated my last house, it was like 50 or 80, something like that. It was way more. I sound like big dude talking about he got $15 million in scholarships, but it was more than that. But like this you know, if you want to get your tax burden, like the whole thing about reducing your tax burden is not just like there's no tricks to it. You have to spend your money. Honestly, the whole thing about spending your money is just about spending money that'll make it deductible for you. You see what I'm saying? You can't just buy random stuff. You gotta connect it to your business. You see what I'm saying? Like going, you know, if I went and bought a vehicle and I just didn't do anything with it, I can't claim that. You see what I'm saying?